This is why I think Kylian Mbappe will be a monster for Real Madrid next season. Now I understand, next season is not something that anybody wants to hear when it comes to Kylian Mbappe. Real Madrid brought him in this current season. They brought him in because they wanted another Champions League. They wanted a new main man who would perform with Vinny, Jude Bellingham. Matter of fact, not even for that reason, they've been wanting him for many years. But unfortunately, it looks like we are going trophyless. It looks like Real Madrid are gonna go trophyless. Carlo Ancelotti is set to leave and a new manager is approaching. But let's get back to why Kylian Mbappe will be a monster for Real Madrid in 2025/26. And it's simple. I went back to go and watch Barcelona against Real Madrid, but I went to go re-watch it to see how good Kylian Mbappe was in that match. And let me tell you something. Kylian Mbappe was the sole reason. Okay, we can't say the Gula, Luka Modric, Vinny Jr. But Kylian Mbappe was the sole reason for the team staying into the match. And listen, this guy, I think, even though he's not going to win the Ballon d'Or, even though Dembele, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, they are all up there in the Ballon d'Or podium, but I think Kylian Mbappe is the best player in the world. Absolutely nobody is going to change my mind. I saw his performance against Barcelona. He came up in the second half. And let me tell you something, just a quick thing I need to say. I made a video back about 2 weeks ago saying, did Kylian Mbappe ruin Real Madrid? Because you know the obvious. We came from a successful season in 2023/24. He joins the club and suddenly we look like we're gonna go trophyless. And not to mention getting knocked out of every competition, and we're 4 points behind Barcelona as well. And this didn't happen last season, it's happening this season with the new player Kylian Mbappe. So I made that video, but now things have changed. If you watched that first half without Kylian Mbappe, did you see how poor the team was? Did you see how poor the team was? It was basically unwatchable. The team was defending, barely attacking. Matter of fact, Vinny and Rodrigo are flat together. And that's crazy because last season, they were insanely good together. So the first half, Barcelona dominated. Second half, they make the substitution to put Kylian Mbappe on. They put him on. And what did he do? Immediately combining with the attackers, making some explosive dribbles. Explosive. This guy is so good. Like, he will get on the ball, he will hang on the ball, and then he just explodes. He will go past the defender. That's what he did against Barca. He did it about twice. Listen, this guy's the best player in the world. He won a free kick because of how good he was in the attack. Honestly, in my opinion, he is what holds this attack together. He's not what ruins the team. He is the player that brings this attack together. And he scored that free kick goal, so I'm impressed. I'm truly impressed, and I can't wait for next season. I can't wait actually for the Club World Cup. But just because I'm talking so much positive about Kylian Mbappe doesn't mean that there isn't negatives to talk about him. Because we have plenty of negatives to talk about Kylian Mbappe. The first thing being something I'm going to reference, which is the conversation that Luis Enrique had with Kylian Mbappe, which it was about his defensive skill. And listen, he's a forward. I'm not expecting him to be fantastic defensively. However, Luis Enrique brought up some important things. When the team, PSG, when they needed defensive structure, defensive discipline, they didn't get it from Kylian Mbappe. And he compared him to Michael Jordan because we know Mbappe is a fan of Michael Jordan. He told Kylian Mbappe, Michael Jordan, he would grab his teammates, he would tell them defend, and that's because he had a fantastic mentality. We all know this. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest of all time, he had one of the greatest mindsets, greatest mentalities. And that's something that I think Kylian Mbappe does have. However, he's not very disciplined when it comes to defense. Because let's be honest, we have Vinny Jr. and he does the same thing. He sits back, he stands around because he is the main man of Real Madrid. But, you see, you can't have one player like that. You can't have one player who stands there, waits for attacks, and that's cool. But when you have two players who are below the age of 30 doing that, Listen, if 30-year-old Lionel Messi does it, it's okay. If 30-year-old Cristiano does it, it is okay. But if you have two players, talented players, who are below the age of 30, stand around in attack, that is a big problem. And I think this is something that the next manager has to get correct. He has to get Kylian Mbappe to track back more. Or if it's not Kylian Mbappe, get Vinny Jr. to track back more. But I'm a bit pessimistic on the subject because if Luis Enrique can't get you out of it, if Carlo Ancelotti can't get you out of it, Xabi Alonso or Jurgen Klopp are not gonna get this guy out of it. It's going to be like talking to a complete brick wall. He's not going to listen. So that is the first negative. The second one is quite an underrated thing and also quite unspoken about thing. It's Kylian Mbappe's decision making. Now listen, he's one of the most clinical finishers in the world today. One of the greatest attackers in the world today. But I've been noticing he has some bad decision making. There's times he will run past all the defenders and there's a clear pass he can make, but he decides to go for the shot. And there was many times he could have made passes to certain players. Matter of fact, this is not just a problem that Kylian Mbappe has. It's a problem that almost all of our attackers have. Brahim Diaz, Vinny Jr., Jude Bellingham. There is sometimes that they don't make the correct passes and sometimes they go for the shot. And you know what? I feel like I need to talk again about the tracking back because I mentioned Messi, I mentioned Cristiano, and I understand they weren't the best pressers when they were younger, before 30, but they did press at times. There was a time in the Jose Mourinho period in which Cristiano had to press. There was even a funny viral clip where Cristiano would press and he's the only one pressing. And then he literally loses his mind and stops pressing because Benzema, Higuain, they were not helping him out. But we're gonna have to talk about the next manager. What is the next manager going to achieve? And what is the next manager going to do? Which is going to be groundbreaking. And the thing that I think needs to happen is the big discussion about Vinny Jr. and Mbappe. How do you get the best out of them? Who has to play at left wing? Who has to play at striker? How do you let them play together? It's something that I think Ancelotti kind of got the hang of. He kind of got it right. But we need a new manager who's gonna solidify the two of them as the most deadly duo. Because we have seen managers come and go. We have seen Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool. He created the whole system, the Champions League and league winning system. Because when Klopp came in, Liverpool was stuck with Brendan Rodgers and he didn't do anything good with the team. Jurgen Klopp came in, took years to build the system, and then he created a winning system. But then he left the club and Liverpool went to go bring in Slot. And what did Slot do? Slot enhanced that system. He took something that was working and he made it better. So what I expect from the next manager, which I expected to be Xabi Alonso, I don't expect him to change completely the team, but I expect him to enhance the things that Carlo Ancelotti has already done, but make it better. But listen, that's my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts? Please tell me in the comment section. Do you agree with what I said? Do you have more criticism to give Kylian Mbappe? Or do you have more positive things to even say about him? I truly love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. But smash like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Peace out.